Okay, so we all think we know Amazon, right? It's that brown box on our doorstep. It's that one-click button for pretty much anything you can imagine. But what if I told you that whole giant online store is just the tip of the iceberg? Just a tiny visible part of this massive, complex, and honestly, way more fascinating machine. I mean, you click a button and a package just shows up. It feels so simple, doesn't it? But behind that one little click is this enormous operation. And even that operation, that's just the public face of a much, much bigger, more powerful machine. To really get what's going on, we have to look at the engine that drives the whole thing. So, to really understand Amazon, you gotta go back to its foundational concept. You know, the one Jeff Bezos famously sketched on a napkin? It's called the flywheel. And the simple idea, well, it's the engine that has powered the company's insane growth from day one. So, what makes the flywheel so brilliant? It's a self-reinforcing loop. Think of it less like a business plan and more like a law of physics for retail, like a perpetual motion machine. Each part of the cycle pushes the next, building this incredible momentum that becomes almost impossible for anyone else to stop. Okay, so here's how it works. It's pretty simple, actually. Step one, Amazon lowers its prices. What happens next? More customers show up. That's step two. And when you have that many customers, guess what? You get a ton of third-party sellers who want a piece of that action. That creates a massive selection of products. Step three. Now, with all that scale, Amazon gets super efficient, which lowers its own costs. And what can they do with those savings? They can lower prices even more, and boom, the whole cycle starts all over again, just spinning faster and faster every time. So that flywheel, it built a gigantic retail empire, no question. But here's the twist. That empire, the store that we all use, that's not where Amazon makes its real money. Not even close. So let's pull back the curtain and look at the actual profit engines. And this is really the key question, right? The flywheel is all about growth, not necessarily about making a huge profit on every sale. So if the store itself isn't the cash cow, what is? The answer, I promise you, will completely change how you think about this company. This really gets to the heart of Amazon's two-sided nature. On one hand, you've got the e-commerce business. It's massive, it's what everyone knows, but it runs on razor-thin profit margins. But then, on the other hand, you have these hidden engines. You don't see them as much, but they are incredibly profitable. They generate the cash that literally funds everything else. Yep, including those low prices in the store. Okay, just look at this breakdown of where the actual profit comes from. It's absolutely staggering. You see that tiny little sliver? That's the entire global retail business. The vast, vast majority of Amazon's operating income, it comes from just two places, Amazon Web Services, or AWS, and its exploding advertising business. See, the store is great at creating traffic, but these two businesses are what monetize that traffic on a mind-boggling scale. All right, first up, AWS. This thing is the undisputed king of cloud computing. What is that? Well, essentially, Amazon rents out its massive computer servers and processing power to other companies. We're talking about companies that power things you use every day, like Netflix and even government agencies. This is not a side hustle. AWS commands almost a third of the entire global market. It's way ahead of giants like Microsoft and Google. Honestly, this is the financial anchor of the entire Amazon empire. And then there's advertising. Think about all the data Amazon has on what we buy. They've used that to build an advertising juggernaut. We're talking a projected $60 billion in annual revenue. Sellers basically have to pay to play to get their products noticed on such a crowded website. And just like that, all of our little clicks and searches get turned into this pure, high-margin river of cash for Amazon. Okay, so we've got a low-profit store that's basically funded by these super profitable tech businesses. But how does Amazon keep us all locked in and coming back for more? Well, that brings us to the next layer of the strategy, the ecosystem. And it's designed to make leaving really, really inconvenient. The name of the game here is ecosystem lock-in, and the poster child for this whole strategy is, of course, Amazon Prime. It all starts with free shipping, right? But then they just keep adding more. First it's video streaming, then music, then exclusive deals. Now they're even throwing in healthcare discounts. Every single service is like another golden thread weaving you deeper into their world, making it harder and harder to justify hitting that cancel button. So does this whole lock-in thing actually work? Oh yeah, this one number says everything you need to know. On average, Prime members spend twice as much as non-members. Twice! Once you're inside that ecosystem, you become a totally different, much more valuable customer. The locking isn't just a theory, it's real. And it is unbelievably profitable. And they are always tweaking this strategy. Just look at Prime Video. You might think it's just a streaming service, but it's playing two games at once. For most of us, it's a tool to keep us subscribed to Prime, part of that lock-in. But now, it's also a new moneymaker. They've started showing ads, and if you don't want them, you have to pay an extra few bucks a month. It's a really clever way to squeeze a little more high-margin cash out of their most loyal customers. And believe me, this lock-in is only going to get tighter. The next big thing? AI. Check out their strategy for the new super smart Alexa Plus. If you're a Prime member, you get it for free. But if you're not, it's going to cost you a pretty hefty monthly fee. Just like that, their AI assistant becomes another massive reason to join Prime and never, ever leave. But, all this incredible scale, this deep integration, this sheer power, it doesn't come for free. Amazon's dominance has put it square in the crosshairs of regulators and critics all over the world, and that's creating some pretty serious risks for the company. And this isn't just a small problem. The pressure from regulators is ramping up, and it's happening everywhere. We're not talking about just one country. Major regulators in Europe, the UK, and right here in the US have all launched major antitrust investigations. It feels like a coordinated global challenge to how Amazon does business. And what are they saying? Well, regulators like the FTC are basically alleging that Amazon isn't just big, it's a monopoly, and that it actively uses its power to crush competition, which they say hurts both rival businesses and ultimately us, the consumers. That's the core accusation they're facing right now. A huge part of this fight comes down to how Amazon uses data from its own marketplace. Now, their official policy says they don't do this, but investigations suggest that Amazon employees have used secret data from third-party sellers, we're talking their sales numbers, their profit margins, to create and launch Amazon's own competing products. I mean, that is the classic definition of a conflict of interest. And it's not just about antitrust issues. There's also a human cost. That relentless push for efficiency, the thing that makes the flywheel spin so fast, well, it's also led to a lot of red flags from regulators about warehouse safety and really high injury rates. Plus, you have employees worried that AI is being used to constantly surveil them. It creates this constant tension between that drive for perfect efficiency and the well-being of their workers. So all of this brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? Look, Amazon offers incredible convenience. It's built this seamless ecosystem that's woven into almost every part of our lives. But as it keeps growing, pulling in everything from our shopping carts to our health records and our AI assistants, you have to wonder, where's the line? Where does a super convenient ecosystem cross over and become an inescapable monopoly? That is the line that Amazon, all of us, and the regulators are going to have to figure out in the years ahead.